Please be advised that this recorded webinar has been edited from its original format, which may have included a product demo and other engagement features. To set up a live demo, please complete the form above on our website. If you currently are not on our website and are watching this on our YouTube channel, there's a link to the website in the description of this video. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, .brand Frequently Asked Questions with a .brand TLD owner. My name is Annie Tripoletti. I will be kicking things off as your moderator today. So joining us today are Anne-Mette Roed and Ian Peter Semey. Anne-Mette is CSC's product manager for .brand, and Ian is SaxoBank's digital development and domain registration manager. So with that, I would like to welcome in Anne-Mette and Ian.
Thank you.
So thank you very much. So today in this session here, what we will be covering is to have one step back into number one from 2012. We'll be looking into round two coming up. Then we want to look a bit about what is a .brand. Then cover some of the most commonly asked questions to brand TLD owners. Then we have Ian here today to share some of the .SAXO use cases, and then just round it all up with some of the key dates for round two. So I think it's important just to start out with taking one step back and looking at what was happening with what is called round one back to 2012. So in 2012, ICANN allowed companies and brand owners to apply for the top level extension in a time limited window. This is what we refer to as round number one. Back then, ICANN received 1,930 applications. Out of those, 1,409 were unique strings. So as an example, there was 11 applications for .app. 33% of those were also .brand strings. And a .brand string is, when you look to the right of the dot, then you have your company name. And some of the brand string applied in round one is .microsoft, .apple, .saxo as an example. When you look at the overview here to the right, you will see that the business sector that applied in round two was the majority from the banking and financial institution, as well as the technology. ICANN did say back in 2012 that if you don't apply in round one, a round two will be coming up just around the corner in 2014. That never happened. So studies, assessments, and policy development work has been going on for the last 12 years. Some of the reasons behind this new GTLD program for ICANN was to enable some competition, because already back then .com was not easy to get domain names under because it was already full up. And the idea here was that the consumer choice could be bigger by having addresses you could have for your own TLD. So now I can announce a second round to come up. So they announced the second round will open in April 2026. And again, companies can apply for a top-level domain in a time-limited window. Right now, ICANN is pending to confirm whether that will be 12 or it will be 15 weeks. The current timeline will then allow top-level domain owners to be delegated in 2027. So that means where you can start utilizing your top-level domain. There will both be open TLDs that will be coming in and .brand TLDs. There can be community TLDs. Any kind of companies who apply for their own top-level extension can attend the program. There is a fee to ICANN for the application itself, which is $227,500 US for one application. The difference, if we look at from back in 2012 to the second round now, is that ICANN has spent much more time on communicating about the opening of the second round. So ICANN has set up a new website, but what they also have done, they have generated some reports looking into the big opportunity there is for brand owners to unlock this value and tackle some key online challenges by applying for branded TLD. So what ICANN did, they surveyed more than 2,000 marketing directors to better understand the online priorities and challenges and trends going on today. And some of the key priorities that came out of that report is that it's important for brand awareness and visibility, improve customer retention and loyalty. There are some expanding into new markets, some data analytics, as well as adopting new technologies. So some of the core business challenges that these 2,000 companies was facing is about standing out from competitors, It's about attracting and engaging the right audience, as well as keeping up with the digital trends going on, such as where AI and data privacy and security has a major trends playing. The full report can be downloaded in our resources area here if you would like to see the full result of that. But basically, the second round here is opening it up for companies to apply for their own top-level extension. So let's look at what a .brand is and how it actually works. So I always like to visualize this a bit like looking at it from a building perspective. So if you look at the left-hand side here, we look at the example of the registry.com, which is owned by VeriSign. So imagine that when you want to register a .com domain name, anybody can go in and actually rent like a window here and register a domain name. It can be a domain name that includes some of your product names. It could be generic domain names, but basically that is owned by VeriSign, who set the rules and regulations for the domain registrations. Looking at it to the right-hand side here, owning a .brand, so owning the TLD itself means you suddenly own the full building. That gives you a lot of advantages in regards to security, branding, marketing, etc. The part here is that it will only be your company who can register within the .brand. So that's also a very strong message to give to market, that it's a safe and secure place. For example, if you use it for portal usage, etc. So another thing that is important to understand is that when you own the full building here, then you're suddenly capable of implementing different security factors. For example, for email security, you can add DMARC at the root of the house, and then it goes down to all domain registration under the .brands. The difference is that if you wanted to add a DMARC record to a domain under .com, you had to go to the specific domain itself. So that's one example. The other example is also you can add SSL pre-validation on the top of the building again, that pre-validates certificates in the whole house. And additional features also about HTTPS. You can have that preloaded list into HTTP, and that means that you have the HTTPS in web browsers as a guarantee. So there are many security perspectives, seeing it from a branding and marketing perspective as well. You can register short and memorable domain names. So the part here is that owning the building, you can register the domain names by adding any name to the left of the dot. So that could be home.brand, it could be service.brand, it could be our.brand. So that's one of the short parts you can use as well. So short and memorable domain names are able to be registered when you own your own .brand. So I think we have Ian here on the call. Maybe, Ian, you have some kind of experience as well you want to share when we look at this building picture here?
Yes, when I started looking at it was also a little bit difficult for me to understand actually what is the issue of this. And just to take an example, I think it was earlier this year that there was a registry for our Vietnamese domain names that suddenly changed the rules. And the issue there is that before we didn't need to prove to the registry that we were a company, but suddenly we had to provide documentation approved by NOTAR. So we had to send our CEO or somebody at that level to the local office, and imagine that had to be done within a limited time frame. So try to visualize having your CEO who is not very easy to contact, and need to understand why it is important for him or her to be present at a local lawyer office nearby to actually sign this. And that is what can happen when you have your domain owned by somebody else. Like VeriSign can change their rules and say, okay, you need to prove that you're a company if you're using that. And but owning it makes you definitely set the rules, who can apply and not.
Thank you very much, Ian. So I think what I want to do now is move forward with some of the commonly asked questions. Now we know how a .brand works, and then I think sometimes some of the questions that comes up about owning a .brand TLD could be some of these we have been gathering over time. So the benefit of having Ian here, my idea was that, I wanted to ask a few questions to you, Ian, here and get your feedback on that. So if we start out here asking the question around which stakeholders were involved in the decision to apply for your .saxo TLD. Can you remember, I know this is back in time, it goes back to 2012, but can you remember which departments were involved in this part?
Actually, I can say for sure that marketing was involved because I was and I am part of marketing. But now that I have been involved in trying to get our email domain changed, I can say that it has to be, or it has been IT security, it's the brand governance, it's everybody who is actually has a stake in what is the company name. So also legal, it's also the people that manage the trademarks. So there's a lot of touch points in the company.
Thank you for that one. So how did you choose the string of your TLD? So, what was the considerations around choosing .saxo as the top level domain?
.saxo, the reason, it was a very clear reason because we had to secure, we wanted to go with the .com version of our company name, but it turned out that that was taken and we couldn't, it was too expensive to pay them out to get that. So we have grown into this being just the right naming for our company.
So did you have a clear strategy, when you were applying for this top level domain, or was it something you developed over time?
I think it's both. I know that the CSC has assisted us in seeing the advantages of this, but of course it's also something that when you think about what should your branding be online, what should the name of your company be, and everybody knows that short, memorable names are easier for everybody to understand and follow. So that's a clear strategy. And then we try to, as much as possible, ensure that everybody follow this rule.
So how did you get the internal buy-in for applying for the brand TLD?
I think it started very clearly with suddenly an opportunity opening up, and then the legal department were on board, and then it was actually the CEOs that decide, okay, we need to do something because we didn't have the opportunity that we actually wanted. And it's a difficult one, I know. It depends very much on the size of the company, but it's something that you really need to ensure.
Thank you. So I think many times people are worrying about, how to do the application to ICANN because it sounds that it's a very, heavy process in general. So did you get any help with the ICANN application process?
Yes, of course. We are a bank and we don't do domains. And what this is buying the right to create domain names like a registry. Because this is not our business, we need somebody that actually can make it easy to do. So therefore, ensuring that everything is in place to get the right paperwork, that was done with the help of CSC. And you need somebody to help you, or you are a domain registry before this.
Thank you. And then I think one of the questions that very often comes up when you are owning a .brand already, are you considering applying for more brands in the future?
It can very well be, but it of course depends on are you buying a different company and do you want to expand with that brand, or do you want to continue just with the brand naming? So it's a little bit of what are the plans, and of course I don't know the plans that we have going like 3 years out. I don't know. Everything can happen in these day and times, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for some company owners as well. It's more like finding the overall company to apply for and then register maybe your sub companies as the domain name instead of having every single organization's brand name registered as a TLD. So thinking more like, you can register your main brand and then have the other brand name under the umbrella of your main brand as an example.
Yes. Yes, that makes it a logical structure. And I think for everybody to make sense of it, it needs to be a logical structure like that.
Yeah, thank you. So covering that part, then I think we need to look at some of the most commonly asked questions when you actually own a brand, benefiting of you having you here on the call here today as well. We're really appreciating that. So looking into now when you own a brand, these are some of the common questions that we are receiving. So do you have a domain strategy in place for your brand TLD today?
Yes, and that is there's always room for people wanting to have new names, and going on off tangent and wanting to register domains on what they normally know as something that is nice, and we need to be sure that they reuse the money that is already invested in this brand and add to the branding and the value that it has.
So have you your domain strategy together with your open extensions together with your brand in one strategy, so that supports you as operationally?
Yes, it's when we went out and started the company, using .saxo, we needed to find out, okay, what should the optimal domain be, and you helped us with having a survey because you have contacts and are helping other companies using these .brand domains. So you helped us showing what was the most normal usage out there, and then we chose one of these. But it's also a matter of trying to make sense of what does make sense for your clients, your users, your prospects. That's the most important thing.
So has your brand TLD provided you any new ways to use domains for products and campaigns? Now we have been touching a bit around marketing. Is there new ways of utilizing the brand TLD compared to any open TLD extension like .com and .dk and .se as an example?
I'm not totally sure what you're pointing to. If that is the shortening URLs or is it the infringing?
No, so it's more like, whether your brand TLD has provided you new ways to use domains for products and campaigns. So, adding, the thing about, if you have a product name, then, you could be challenged that product name is already taken by somebody else on the .com.
Yes.
So it gives you, does it give you any kind of flexibility, or hasn't you seen any change in that part?
Yes, of course. Because the names are not taking like a product or forex or something that is very common. In this case, it's the financial industry, but it can be anything. It can be go-to. It can be like one of the cases that we have. It can be you can type the name that you are selling, and then because you own the top level, you can actually create that as a domain. And if you need to do that and buy this like a book or something that is short, it will be very expensive to do that. So having this possibility, gives us the possibility to create these kind of URLs. Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks, Yang. So have you seen any change in behavior from any infringers since the implementation of .saxo? So I don't know if you have seen any change in their behavior or if you have noticed anything there.
Yeah, because we are on .saxo now, they can't use that one, and they have to use something that is quite different. So it's easier to spot that it's a site that doesn't belong to us. That is It's not that it's still a battle, because people are not always looking at what is the domain name, especially on the phone. It gets people are trying to hide it, and but definitely we are using less money on having to buy similar domains that we as compared to what we did before.
Okay. I think that's a very important statement for many, because that is one of the areas where it can be, a real good benefit of adding a .brand TLD. So thank you for sharing. So does a brand TLD work with AI? Are there any benefits? Have you seen anything? What is your experience on the AI part? I know this is, the new thing, but
Yes.
you might have some experience you want to share.
Yeah, we are, of course, trying to leverage that we have this .brand and trying to create content that is targeted for AI. So we have about, I think it is about 80,000 articles that are kind of being a source of content. Recently, we also have launched a website or a portion of a website with the different instruments. That is just recently we did that. So when people search for stock, in this case, they will be able to find a description of the stock and a delayed price that we offer. So that's about 6,000 pages. And things like that you need to do, and there's no problem in doing it. But of course, it's not easy, and there's a lot of work to do it. Just the same as with keywords and other SEO work. Yes.
Thanks. So will .brand domain rank in the Google organic results? I know, I did a quick look, and I saw that, the Google organic results for home.saxo ranks as the first one, and for the keyword SAXO. And then we also saw that the AI overview result ranks first for the term who is SAXO. So it documents that it works, but do you have any other experience you want to share on the organic part here?
Yeah, we can take an example of one of the sites that I'm going to talk a little bit about. I typed help.saxo, and then I misspelled SAXO, and still it turned out, together with our competitor that has the saxo.com, but our result was on top of this. So yeah, of course, and also because Google is also a .brand, so of course they also know what it is.
Thank you. So another question that comes up very often is about when you use your .brand TLD, is there any impact on SEO? And I think, overall, we all know that a keyword-rich domain names is needed for the SEO, and that is what a .brand can deliver, because it will be shorter, because there's no other extension like a .com for Verisign, etc. But do you have any kind of, experience you want to share, how you have been managing the SEO under the domain registration for .saxo, or any good advices you want to share here with the audience?
Yes. So of course, well, I will say when we did this, then we were prepared in the way that we had redirection from the old pages to the new pages, and we also did a cleanup. It's always good to use an opportunity like this to do a cleanup and try to remove old stuff and content. But then we ensured that the most of the main pages, they are redirected. And at that time, it actually took a hit, of course. Google penalized at that time when there was a redirection, because a lot of people were doing redirects with redirects with redirects. What you need to do is make an assessment and see what is the potential impact. And then see how long it takes. In our case, I think it was about a half a year. We were actually doing similarly or a little bit better than before with our websites.
Thanks for sharing that part. So moving forward, a few more commonly asked questions before we move into some usage scenarios. So can domains on a .brand TLD replace registering a .com domain going forward? Do you think so?
Yes, that is down to if you have invested in a .brand, you should actually leverage it because otherwise you are splitting the brand, splitting the awareness, also splitting the whatever you do SEO-wise. So as much as possible, make it easy, make it simple. I know this is not easy, but the less complexity, the easier it is. And we try to enforce that if anybody wants to have something, and we try to convince them why not using a .saxo domain.
Mm. Thank you. So another question that comes up very often is that, can you let go of all your domain names outside of your .brand TLD when you now own a .brand TLD? I think that is a question that comes up quite often, and there is not a lot of brand owners who have yet shared what they use their TLDs for and how they use it. But we saw recently that Microsoft announced that they want to keep Microsoft.com for the purpose of commercials, and then they're going to use their .microsoft for domains like 365.microsoft, Teams.microsoft, Cloud.microsoft. So, I think the important part here is that to keep the main considerations around, what are your main markets, what are your main areas of interest, and keep those extensions. So it's more like you have things running in parallel. So it's definitely recommended to include that in your domain strategy as well. But is there any advices there you want to share, or have you had any consideration around this part here?
Yes, we had a fair bit of domains that were created for both marketing purposes, so brief periods, and also things like misspellings with odd dashes or not. And I've tried to make a rule that, okay, anything that is not the core branding is something that we can let go of. But of course, you should keep the ones that will hurt you the most if a competitor takes that one and then starts using this for the same purposes as you use your domain for.
Mm. Great. Moving on to the next one here is a question that comes up around, can you use your .brand domains for resellers? I think, we have seen on the market in general that there is quite a broad level of that taking place on dealer networks in localized mini sites for retailers. That's very often used in Germany for the car and manufacturers there, so they can enhance the regional consistency and brand recognition of a unified domain structure as well. So there is some benefits there. I don't know if this is a part you're using, Ian, on .saxo for resellers or for partners?
In a way we are, because our local offices are actually companies that we have a partnership with. So in a way they are also resellers, but so of course you can do that.
And then another question that comes up is about emails, what you can use your .brand TLD for emails. And yes, you can. One of the things I mentioned on the previous slide is about how you can add DMARC at the root, so it goes down on all domains there. But it is a way that you can also avoid, spoofing emails. It's a way where you can tell, the receivers, they can verify who the sender is, and that is a way to confirm that part of emails. I don't know, have you started implementing emails on your side, Ian?
Yes, for our marketing emails, they're using the .saxo brand. Not our personal emails, and that's still a hurdle to solve. But our marketing emails, they are using the .saxo domain.
And based on the experience, what are the main benefits of owning a .brand? That's also very often the question that comes up. I did mention in the beginning, it's a lot about, security and branding as well. But I don't know if you want to add a word or two, Ian, on, the benefits that you have been seeing of owning a .saxo for your team.
So one of the biggest benefits is the speed of creating a new domain. There are no hassles in asking for it, finding out what is the cost, getting that approved, and going through getting to all the countries, the registries in the countries where you need this, and finding if it is available or not. So this has been very easy, makes it very easy that you can. I think we have up to 7,000 domains that we can create, and of course we don't have that many, but it's. There hasn't been. It takes me like 10 minutes, 15 minutes to create a domain. So the biggest burden is all the other stuff that has to be done afterwards in the IT department. And then I have good colleagues that help me out there.
But that would be the same whether you will be registering a domain for other extension. It will take a longer time to register, but the setup will be the same, because the important part here is that a .brand domain name is having the same behavior as a domain name under .com or .dk or .se. It needs to be set up in the same way. The big difference is that you own this core piece of the internet, so you're the one who can make the choice of which domains, and then you, as you're saying, you can do these speedy registrations as well. So finishing up with the last question for the commonly asked questions here is that, can you see any return of investments? Do you have any document cost saving, or have you done anything internally that you can share with the audience?
Well, one of the things that we have done is we needed to implement a shortening URL, and we could do that with the domain that we are using both for social. We are going to show that a little bit later. Social.saxo, go-to.saxo, and in that case, we had a case where we had to send two-factor authentication SMS at a point in time. And because we could use this short URL and it was clear that it was belonging to us, we didn't need to send two SMSs. And that it, I think we saved about, was it 60,000 kroner or something like that on that campaign. So yes, you should look out for these possible cost savings. Yeah.
Thank you very much for sharing, Ian. So now I really want to move over to, looking at some of the usage scenarios that you have, Ian, from .saxo, from using .saxo in your general work. And we have the next couple of slides, which is giving some usage scenarios where we're highlighting the domain name, and then I really want you to just reflect on the usage scenario in general. So the first domain we have highlighted here is home.saxo. So what was the strategy for the switch from .com, and how do we handle country content/pages? As you're saying, each country has their own company parts, so where maybe you want to reflect and share that.
Yeah. So one of the issues we had was that we have a banking license in some countries and we don't have in other countries. Like in Singapore, we don't. In the UK, we don't. And previously, before owning home.saxo, we were not allowed to the mentioning bank in the domain name. So we had to both have SaxoBank.com and .dk, or dk.saxobank.com and uk.saxobank.com for these domains, these companies. And then, after we were able, and then for UK, it was not uk.saxobank.com. I'm saying it wrong. It is uk.saxomarkets.com. So we were not allowed to use the word bank. And therefore, we had to have this two kinds of domain names. And it was always difficult. And then when you mention a domain name, a link, we are not allowed to use the word bank on the UK website or the Singaporean website. So it's always, we need to be on the lookout of if there's any wrong link across these websites. So going to a domain name that it doesn't have the word bank was actually a solution for this. And then we switched the URL around. So instead of being dk.saxobank.com and uk.saxomarkets.com, then we ended up having the culture code at the end. So all the SEO value is going to one domain name. So that is also one of the benefits that we can have the SEO value of all the countries, all the cultures going to a single domain name.
Thanks for sharing that example. So the next one here is refer.saxo as the domain name itself. So can you share the usage scenario on this domain?
Yeah. As you can imagine, buying refer.saxo or refer.com or refer. Is something that is very expensive. So there we are helped by using a shortener URL, and that helps us create these links automatically. So every time a client signs up and wants to recommend or refer their friends to us, then they get a special URL created for that client. And so when he or she gets friends to sign up, then we can see, okay, it is this client. And the beauty of this is that it's a short URL. It's not a long and with a lot of parameters and things like that. It is just refer.saxo / something that is a random code. And then, yeah, we can use this automatically. We have a service that calls an API and then returns these URLs. So it's nothing that we need to do manually.
So the benefit of using it under .saxo is that refer is a generic keyword, and that was something you could just go and register under .saxo as well. So that's true. That's a nice thing. So next one here is help.saxo. So can you share if there's some benefits of these targeted domains? I know you touched a bit based on help previously in this conversation here, but share your thoughts around help.saxo.
Yeah, so help.saxo is another. This is a special domain where we use a system to host all our help portal. And we have a license so we can change the URL. It's not a redirection as in the refer.saxo, but it is it's an independent website with this .saxo domain. And by having this, we can make it work across systems like cookies, pop-ups, and we can make things work a little bit easier together when they are using the .saxo domain. And it's also it makes it easy to understand. Okay, where do you go for help? Help.saxo.
Very good usage scenario. Thank you for sharing that one. So the next one here is family-offices.saxo. So this descriptive domain name is still shorter than the URL that you're being sent to when you're using this domain in general. So this is a part of your usage strategy as well, to be very focused on also have descriptive domains, or is there any other thought behind this domain?
Yeah, we have still a couple of these kind of redirection URLs that are targeting specific user cases. In this case, it's our institutional offering, and they are targeting some very well-defined user groups, kind of. You could say it's a user group, family offices. We have the introducing brokers and some others. And there we have set up these kind of redirects. And it makes it also easy to know, okay, does this belong to us or not? Because it still ends in .saxo.
The next one here is, again, very generic keyword, invest.saxo. That's a domain name here. So, is some of the things here we are looking at it more is domains like these help driving users to the content they're looking for, or is there other advantages that you're seeing by using a domain like invest.saxo?
Yeah, this is a case of where you take a product name, or in this case, our product is the platform name, and then create a URL for that. Because it's such a central part of what we offer, we also have protected it. So investor.dk, investor.com, I think we have it, or especially in the markets where we have it. But the main redirection, the main domain that we market is the invest.saxo, and makes it easy. What is it we are going to? Yeah.
Yeah. The next one is podcast.saxo as a domain name itself. So it seems to be an easy way for marketing to add user targeted information and also for users to find it. So is that some of the same ideas behind doing registrations like podcast.saxo here?
Yeah, podcast.saxo is one of them. I think there's another, the social.saxo. It's a targeted domains that we use for our media, for our outreach. We try to make it easy to understand, easy to know what is it that you should look for, memorable domain names.
Thank you. There's also a domain name called worksmarter.saxo. So this domain takes the user directly to their own Microsoft account. Is this a part of using .saxo as a secure way to access accounts within SAXO, or has there been other considerations around the usage of worksmarter.saxo, the domain?
Yeah, this is our internal IT that have created this, and it makes it, because we are using Office products extensively, then using this short URLs and this redirection makes it easy for our users internally to find where is the content that they are working on. And believe me, that is not simple.
Thank you very much for sharing that one. So social.saxo was the next one. You did mention that a bit here, so it looks like, some of these parts can be used for different purposes, but, do you use .saxo domains for other social channels like Facebook and LinkedIn and those parts as well?
Yes. So the use case of this is in our platform, we have a lot of articles, and if clients want to share these articles to somebody or to their followers or whoever they know on social media, we have buttons where when they click on this, it used to create a very, very long URL with some long parameters, and they had to insert that in an email. But now we make a call via this API call to this URL shortener we're using, and then it returns a social.saxo URL that you can share. And that is, right now we haven't implemented it for Facebook, LinkedIn, emails, as far as I remember. I don't know if we have more.
So it gives the user a much shorter URL to share, and also for the ones who gets it to see that this is a valid and a secure link to access, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Great user scenario. Thank you. Then the next one is called go-to.saxo/app. So these are short, memorable domain names, but maybe you can share the benefits of using go-to.saxo.app here.
Yeah, so this is a case of a little bit more complex app link. It depends on what device, how the redirection works. So if you're on desktop, and in this case you have used the desktop, I can see, to go to this one, because then you land on the homepage. If you were on an Apple device, then you would go to the App Store and find the app that we have. And then if you go on Android, you would go to the same. And we have different apps for the investor and the SAXO trader apps that we have. So and this is a setup that you can do in these link shorteners where you find. You can also do it. In this case, we also did it so you actually land on the right culture, so you get the right language as well. So things like that. It's easy to build in and create something with some logic behind, so it's easier for users. And then we don't have to update the URLs on our websites. There's many links to these, and we have one place to update it if needed.
That's really nice. That's really nice. So the last user scenario here is go-to.saxo/1saxo, and you use this for internal branding. So maybe you want to just share that part with the users as well.
Yeah, actually, I just noticed you can recognize the picture from my background to what you see here.
Very beautiful picture.
Yeah, it's our headquarters that in just behind me. So so this is one short URL that we use when we have to open our Teams meeting for our bi-weekly presentation from our management team or different people that are presenting. And the beauty of this is also we save the time by sending emails with different links to different versions of the Teams, creating new chats, creating new whatever you need to create to have these webinars up and running. There's one link that we need to remember. You need to type that in, and then it goes directly to this page. And then when I click on this one, I'm taken directly to the Teams meeting that has this week's meeting. I don't need to remember the long string that you can see in the URL. So this makes it much easier, much less prone for errors, and save time and complexity. And that's always a good value.
Yeah. So basically, the internal users only need to remember go-to.saxo/1saxo, and then they can be brought to the meetings every second week when you're hosting that. So that's really nice. So thank you very much for sharing all these usage scenarios. I think they're very beneficial for anyone who either would like to own a top-level domain or already owns a top-level domain. So thank you very much for that, Ian.
You're welcome.
So rounding up here, just quickly just want to share some of the key dates for the second round here. So basically where we are right now in the month of October, November, and December 2025, we do recommend that you identify any key internal stakeholders and educate them about the opportunities with the branch coming up next year. Assess whether you want to apply for a top-level domain. And if you want to apply for .brand TLD, make sure you have a trademark that have the exact match of the wording you want to apply for. And then also one of the things that Ian also highlighted today is important to sign up with some partners to help you with the assistance of the application development, but also for the operation of the TLD. ICANN, the governing body of the internet, who is having this program opening next year, their board team has to sign what they call the final applicant guidebook. It is a book of 400 pages describing the criteria of what can be applied for, how the application process are, and how the operation will be for the future. So that one is expected to be signed off by the team in December. And then in January to March next year, then the whole application preparation work will be started. There's some data collection, there's some required information and documentation. And then moving towards April, further on over the summer, the application window will open, as I mentioned, in a time-limited window. It is not a first come, first serve. So it is a matter about if you're interested in having a .brand, you need to place your application within that window. And then when we get to the month of September and what is the rest of the year, there will be a reveal date. So any applications who are submitting the application in the application window with ICANN, that will be a secret until ICANN has the big reveal date taking place. So one thing that that is important to be aware of is that CSC can help you here. CSC has a fully outsourced solution available. It goes all the way from application preparation to submission, extended evaluation, and further on when you have to have the top level domain delegated and launched, and then moving forward with the day-to-day management and operation. I just shown here the applicant journey just to share that from writing an application to having the application evaluated with ICANN. It's a quite heavy process, and therefore we do recommend you to partner up with companies that can assist you. So finishing it up here, CSC has been helping 250 plus companies writing the application in round one. Personally, I was a part of those myself as well. So we have been responsible for over a third of all the brand applications. So we have 100% application evaluation success rate. We've also today the industry market leader. We are managing 160 brands out of the 483 brands that are operational today. So we have a quite broad level of experience and knowledge for the day-to-day operation as well. We also have in our resource tool a video testimonial from Ian as well from SaxoBank, and we also have a testimonial from Semey that you can download after this session as well. But overall, I really want to say thank you very much, Ian, for sharing your experience and the use cases for .saxo. I'm sure this will benefit many in the audience and companies who want to either apply for their own top-level extension, who want to be watching the program, or even already own their own top-level domain. I think it's a great inspiration, so thank you very much. So now I want to hand over to you, Annie. Thank you, Ian.
Welcome.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Anne-Mette and Ian. That was a great presentation filled with a lot of really important information.